Are you looking to clean toilet bowl stains with muriatic acid? I did that in a previous videos and you guys left a ton of comments. So I figured that I'd come on here and do a Q&A of some of the comments that you guys asked since the last time that I posted that video. I use this stuff right here, muriatic acid. I'll link it up down in the description below if you guys want to go and check it out and use that to get rid of mineral deposit stains that are on your toilet, because that's what we have on our toilet. First of all, hi to all the new dads out there. This is Dad Reviews. This is where I give you my unedited, hopefully more authentic look at the products that I like, use, and haven't used to clean my toilet. So if you're interested in that, you might want to consider clicking that subscribe button. I got my little buddy here today. Say, hey Beckett. Hello. So you guys, first of all, I got a ton of comments talking about my dust mask that I was wearing. Try and say that 5 times fast. Dust mask. That's hard to say. And I admittedly admit, that's very redundant, that I admit that I was using the wrong mask. I didn't realize this until you guys mentioned it to me in the comments, but what you really need is a respirator to go on your face to protect you from the fumes if you're worried about that type of stuff, which I'd highly recommend. Disclaimer though, that I'm not a medical person or anything like that, so don't do anything stupid. This is, how about entertainment purposes only, informational purposes only. There we go. So note to there, use a respirator. I'll link up one that someone suggested down in the comments below. Second thing that I want to mention is a lot of people said, ew, he touched the toilet with his finger without wearing a glove. And I know you guys probably think, ew, that's so gross. I cleaned the heck out of this toilet before I shot that video. And that buildup that y'all saw was the mineral deposits from the water sitting in the toilet. And those I just could not get rid of, and I just wanted to show you guys what I was looking at. So the toilet was really clean before I actually touched it. I know some of you guys might think that that's super gross. I washed my hands afterwards. We're totally fine there. So now to get to some of y'all's questions that you had, we have what Hank said, bogus man, why didn't you show the results? We want results here. I did, actually. It was in a part 2 video, because you guys need to neutralize your acid before you flush it, which we're going to talk about because somebody else left a comment about that. But if you guys want to see the results about how the first video ended up, seems like a lot of you guys didn't go and watch that, so I'll put it at the end of this video and down in the description below if you guys want to go and check that out. So I wanted to address that because there was a few people that mentioned that I didn't show the results. Catherine Quigley said a bottle of Snowball would be so much easier. It's corrosive, thick liquid toilet bowl cleaner. No mask required, not nearly as dangerous. My mother actually used it once to clean the lime scale from a car radiator. Very hard to find in stores now, but I bought a case from Ace Hardware online. I recently cleaned the lime scale from a very old cast iron bathtub. Had to soak it a couple times due to the thickness of the scale, but looked brand new when I finished. If I can find this stuff, she said it's hard to find. If I can find it, I'll link it up down in the description below for you guys. It sounds awesome. I've never heard of that before. I'd be curious from you guys if you guys have ever used this Snowball stuff before. But that's exactly what we're dealing with here, is that lime scale and those mineral deposits that get stuck because you have hard water in your house. Another option, somebody else mentioned this, to fix the hard water problem is to get a filter, a whole house filter put onto your main water line coming in. So if I can find that too, I'll link that up down in the description below as well. And you guys can kind of pick and choose what you think is going to be best for your situation. Our next one said, dude, the acid will also get rid of your cast iron sewer drains if you do it enough. Drano will also eat the cast and galvanize, but not a bad idea. The buildup is tough stuff. Plug the trap, remove your product, no worries. So again, I'm going to go back to neutralizing the acid. What you want to do is pour a ton of baking soda in there, although you got to be careful because you don't want it to overflow. What's going to happen is that whole baking soda and vinegar experiment where it bubbles up like a volcano, same thing's going to happen because you're neutralizing the acid. But once you do that, you should be safe to flush it down, and it shouldn't have any problems on your drains from my experience. I can't say from anybody else's experience. By the way, I heard this whole muriatic acid thing. I got this from a master plumber who wrote a blog article about it. If I can re-find that, it's been like a year since I made that video, but if I can find that, I'll link it up down in the description below. There's gonna be a lot of things in the links in the description if you guys want to go and check it all out. All right, our next comment said, Tatsucook said, steel wool. No. This and a pumice stone you do not want to use on your toilet because it's too abrasive, and it's actually gonna destroy that film coating that's on your toilet, and then stuff can get stuck into there because it's going to become more porous. So that is something that you do not want to do, and if you do it and it gets bad enough, you may have to replace your entire toilet. So I would not recommend steel wool, and I will not be linking that down below. The next one comes from Christian Cohen. He said, I used it too. I tried Barkeeper's Friend, Wink the Works, Bonami, baking soda, and Comet. Muriatic acid also removes iron stains. So if you guys are having an iron issue with your stuff, it's stuff you want to clean, you guys can, looks like you can use muriatic acid on that as well. I haven't tried any of these other products that he listed there, but I will link them up if you guys want to go and check it out. I would suggest go and read some of the reviews on some of those products and see if anybody is talking about, you know, using it to get rid of limescale or mineral buildups or iron deposits or whatever. I'm going to let you guys kind of go and do some research on that since I'd never really heard of any of those before besides Comet and baking soda. I do know that baking soda will neutralize the acid though. Fix It Yourself said, out of strange curiosity, what's the dust mask for? Like I said at the beginning of the video, totally my fault. Bad information out there. I'm here to correct that. You need a respirator. The dust mask won't do you any good. The next one comes from James Humphrey. Says, muriatic acid in the rivers? Yes, if you don't neutralize it. If you flush it without neutralizing it, yes, you will have muriatic acid in the rivers, and that is no good. But if you pour some baking soda in there and you neutralize it, we should be good to go, should be safe. The next one comes from Alcatraz. I would soak some toilet paper with full-strength acid and place the paper mache under the rim for it to work. Can be done on the toilet ring. It will stay put for a long time. So this is something that I actually want to try because whenever I did my internal flush, I opened the tank and I poured some down the pipe in there. I was doing that to get rid of all the scaling and whatnot that was inside the pipes, but to have that underneath clean would be nice, and that is a great idea. I just need to get some, I want to get some heavier duty gloves to be able to handle the muriatic acid and the toilet paper all mixed together because I don't want to get that on my fingers. But that's, I think, is a great idea. Just make sure you have the proper protection in place to do that type of thing. Marianne America says, I bought a new toilet. That's your other option. You can buy a new toilet if you don't want to have to deal with it, and that way you kind of start fresh. In fact, if I can find a toilet on Amazon, I'll link up some toilets down in the description below as well. Because I got a lot of other people saying that, yeah, I just replaced the toilet. They're probably like $100, I want to say, 100, 150 bucks. Another option, and I've actually taken apart the toilet before because we were having an issue, and all you need is make sure you get a seal for the toilet. I'll link up that down in the description if you do buy a new toilet. Make sure to get the seal to put underneath it before you put it up back on top and re-screw everything in. But that is definitely another option right there. Okay, Jeannie Warren and Joanne Wheeler said, oh no, you're adding acid into our water supply. Not a good idea. Use free elbow grease, Dad. What a toxic solution that ends up going into our water supply. Nope, no thank you. Gotta neutralize the acid. A lot of you guys, like I said, y'all didn't watch the second part of the video where I did neutralize the acid, and that's what you have to do to keep everything in the sewer systems and all that clean. A lot of people are asking about septic tanks too. I do not have a septic tank on my house. So somebody was saying that muriatic acid would kill a lot of the bacteria that's in the septic tank that would use to break down the stuff that you flush down the toilet. So I cannot attest to this. Again, I would say that you probably want to neutralize the acid before you put it in there. You guys can go and read some of the comments either down below or on the previous video where they were talking about septic tanks. There was a good thread there. So you guys, if you have a septic system, you might want to go and check that out before you decide that you want to do this or not. Ron Alseed said, Zep acidic toilet bowl cleaner contains muriatic acid. Always worked for me. It's a gel, so it sticks to the bowl, giving it time for the acid to work. I've heard of Zep before. I did not know that they had an acidic toilet bowl cleaner. So I'm going to link that up down in the description below if I can find it. That actually looks like a really good stuff. Like I said, I've heard of Zep before, and I know they make good cleaners. Actually, I have one of their spray bottles for whenever I'll spray in some other stuff. And the fact that this contains muriatic acid is great. I just like to know what the percentage of muriatic acid is in there, or what percentage of, what is it? Oh God, I lost my train of thought. The acid that's in this stuff, hydrochloric acid, is in there. I think I was looking it up for somebody else in the comments. I want to say this is like a 31% muriatic or hydrochloric acid in the solution there. I don't have any definitive numbers on that. I looked all over the bottle for that, couldn't find anything. But I'd be curious to know what the Zep acidic toilet bowl cleaner stuff, how much hydrochloric acid is in that to be able to take care of these lime scale issues and whatnot. But like I said, I'll link up that down in the description. N Corruption says, has anyone tried using car wax after non-acid cleaning of the ring section? The comments or video I saw suggested that it works and it's less dangerous/risky than this method. I have not heard of putting a car wax finish after, but that's a great idea. If you do want to use that steel wool or a pumice stone, you can use that to kind of like basically scratch your toilet and to get it off. And then go back with I don't know how long the car wax would stay. I don't know how the car wax would work after so many flushes and stuff and scrubbing, you know, cleaning your toilet and all that. That's a big up in the air. I don't know anything about that. If you guys have ever tried that before, let me know that down in the comments below. I'd be very curious to know what your results of that were. And Corruption also said, thanks, a lot of good info in both videos. Thank you for watching both videos. Definitely appreciate that. And the comments. Yes, you guys were awesome in the comments. Thank y'all for leaving comments. I'm not sure if you answered this anywhere, but here's a big question. How long does this cleaning last before the ring showed up again? Well, since we made it this far into the video, how about I just show you? I haven't cleaned it since the last muriatic acid application. I did scrub it recently though, so it's nice and clean. And as you can see, there is some staining along the back. I'm not going to touch it again so you guys don't freak out, but there is some staining that has come back, although it's not as bad as it was previously, which is great. So yes, I guess it has been working and it seems to be lasting, and just, you know, some normal upkeep with cleaning and whatnot would help to keep it away, because hopefully you slough it off, but if it goes a little too long, that can happen. Last one comes from Cam Jam's dad. Jasco is a diluted muriatic acid. By swimming pool muriatic acid, it's much stronger. So this one, the one that I used, is Jasco Green, and yeah, they said it's a more diluted muriatic acid. If you guys want to try a swimming pool muriatic acid, I'll link that up down in the description as well, and you guys can go and try some of that. So after all is said and done, I want to know, what are some of y'all's results from doing toilet bowl cleaning, whether you used muriatic acid or not? I want to know what y'all's findings were whenever y'all were trying to clean your toilet bowls. Let me know that down in the comments below. We can kind of come together as a community of dads and people who like to keep stuff clean and figure out what is the best way to get rid of that really tough lime scale mineral deposits, iron deposits, and all that on your toilet. I'd love to know y'all's things down in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to put some more videos right there on the screen. It's going to be the other muriatic acid videos that you might have missed, and maybe another video. You guys can click one of those videos. I'll see y'all in those videos. Thank you, dads, for watching. That thumbs up is always appreciated, and Dad out.